Greetings from Uganda, from National Association of Social Workers of Uganda. I'm called John Mel Ssekate. I'm the current coordinator of the National Association of Social Workers of Uganda. And I'm with my colleague.
Doreen Champeire. I am the communications assistant at National Association of Social Workers in Uganda.
Yeah, we are pleased to share with you on this global summit. We are pleased to share with you on this global summit of co-building an eco-social world, leaving no one behind. The signature picture you see, it is our intervention in a refugee settlement where NASWU is supporting some university young people to do interventions, especially on climate change along refugee settlements. When you look at our organization is called the NASWU in brief, and the theme today is co-building a new eco-social world, leaving no one behind. Our title of sharing is on ESCO practice, a pillar for co-building a new eco-social world, leaving no one behind, and the lessons from NASWU. We thought of sharing with you on the sub-theme of respect, dignity, harmony, and justice, which are key domains of the social work practice in relation to our values and practice. And the presenter, as I've already mentioned, is John Mary and also Doreen. Now, about NASWU, we wanted you to know about us. NASWU is a professional body mandated to promote social work and development in Uganda, and we work closely with the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and also work with the Minister of Health. We work with the Minister of Education and Sports. We are members of Global Social Workforce Alliance, International Federation of Social Workers, and also work closely with interministerial departments to advance social work agenda. NASWU works with over 20 universities in Uganda and 30 social worker agencies. We are over now 8,000 individual members. So those are the brief about us, and we thought you would want to know about it. We want to ask a question. Why is the theme important to social workers? Our thinking is it is important because the profession has been focusing on the person in the environment for a longer period of time. When you look at the theory by Mel Richmond of 1922. But as a professional body of social workers, we think we need now to refrain and change the perspective from a person in environment to a person with environment, or a person of the environment. So we believe that one will give us the responsibility to be co-builders and also to protect the environment and also to improve the welfare of people. In Uganda, when you look at the statistics, show that in 2021 and 2020, between 2020 and 2021, Uganda lost 12% of the tree cover, and poverty stood at 21.4%. And also there was a lot of inequalities. So this is an indication that the theme is important to the social workers, especially here in Uganda. We also engage in co-building when you look at social work as a new eco-social world through both climate change modification and adaptation. We want always to adapt the environment, climate change, but also into prevention, those which lead to climate change prevention. What could be the role of social work practice in co-building eco-social world? When you look at social workers, our role should be looked at two levels. One, primary or direct social work, and also secondary, what we call indirect social work practice. For direct, we need to work with clients and partners in co-building an eco-social world. But also in indirect practice, that is the beneficiaries of our service need to be beneficiary participants in co-building a new eco-social world. But also we need to enable people to fairly utilize resources for the well-being of people without compromising the natural world. So we think that social workers, looking at our direct, indirect, we are at the center of co-building a new eco-social world. Now, our theme was, our presentation is on ESCO practice. Now, what are those? What are the ESCO values and principles needed for sustainable eco-social world? When you look at our values and principles like a service, it is calling us to do, to co-build. When you look at justice, we need to have climate change justice. There is injustice on climate change, and therefore we need to co-build. Dignity and the worth of a person. If we put it into a perspective, you look at a person who is affected in environment, and you need to protect him and also his dignity and worth. Integrity, importance of human relationship. Human relationship, we cannot talk about it without talking about the environment. But also when you look at the trustworthiness, ethical use of technology and social media, if we apply technology, we can spread the information. We can do advocacy globally. And also we co-build an eco-social world. But also, this should be also looked at in terms of human rights perspective. Social workers, when you look at all these values and principles, can be a motivation, can be a guiding tool for us to co-build a new eco-social world. But also, they can be inner motivation for all social workers in the world to sustainably engender or attain an eco-social world. When you look also, why should we look at ESCO practice? Because it remains a guiding tool for all social workers. When you have your values and skills, then it will help you to know what to do based on our professional ESCO values and principles. But also, we can enhance the human well-being for all people, regardless of the hardships they face, including challenges of environmental mismanagement. We can also acquire and improve on the knowledge of how environmental forces contribute to issues that affect individuals' awareness of their goals and realizing their potential. In other words, a person in environment or a person with environment. ESCO practice can also help us to deal with clients facing obstacles on day-to-day basis, and the importance of our shared responsibility of protecting the environment. So when we apply ESCO values, ESCO practice, you look at all these into play. The other issue when you look at ESCO practice, why you should emphasize on it, besides dealing with clients facing obstacles, you look at it guarantees application of social work core values. If we are going to face the environment which is degraded, we need to guarantee that core values and our mission and standards are required by all social workers who are on the front line of changing the world. But also social work practice will promote considerations for professional obligations when conflicts or ESCO dilemmas happen. For example, there is conflicts between the environment and people, between animals and people. But when we put the ESCO practice in play, we find we can handle those conflicts with ease. But it can help us also to fast track ESCO standards to which the general public can also hold us accountable. We can find that maybe social workers may be one of the people who are affecting the environment. So the standards, when they are in play, they will help also the public to hold us accountable. But also it can help the newcomers in the profession to know, to familiarize with the mission, the values, the ESCO principles that guide us as we are doing our work. The other one, we wanted also to share with you the lessons from NASWU. NASWU has put, for example, in place the Parasocial Worker Manual to guide the lower cadres based on the social work value and principles. We have put also a guide which has been approved by the Ministry of Gender here in Uganda, and we think this one can help them to promote eco-social world from the lower cadre but guided by ESCO values and principles. NASWU, together with other partners, also have put minimum standards for social work education in Uganda and was approved by the National Council for Higher Education. In it, we guide the professionals who are on the front line on the values, on the research, and what they are supposed to do. And we believe this one can be a basis for all other professions to see that we put standards for those who will be changing and addressing issues of climate change. Working with the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and CRS, that is Catholic Relief Services, NASWU has put in place the standardized case management tool to guide social workers as they intervene in children issues and HIV. So there was a lot of many case management tools in Uganda, but we standardized it. And we believe as we are also moving for ensuring an eco-social world, we need also to put standards which can also be applied by all social workers globally. We are also on the front line of capacity building for frontline social workers to take a lead and promote resilience of individuals and communities. We have provided a link for you, you can follow up, and also our report is published on the global arena, that is now International Federation of Social Work website. NASWU also has put in place an ESCO code of conduct based, it borrows much from International Federation of Social Work, ESCO statement of 2018, to guide all our frontline social workers as they are doing their work. And also a link is provided for members to follow. At this point, let me invite my colleague Doreen to continue with the discussion. Doreen.
Yes, after viewing all this, we have to have a call to action. What's next? How do we put all these things into practice? So our first point is to ensure all frontline social workers, social work professionals are supported through regular supervision and team meetings. This gives them a point of entry into developing these skills and understanding all these things. Then develop a guidance with frontline social workforce about how to operate safely and ethically. When we are dealing with things about environment, we need to have a safety net where these people can operate in a safe and ethical way, then advocate to governments and draw attention to gaps in eco-social welfare systems and need for improvements. As we do our capacity building, as we move forward in making the social work profession aligned to the eco-social welfare, it involves more and more capacity building to keep them in line. Then engage in ethical deliberation with colleagues and mainstream climate change mitigation and adaptation. This means we have to bring people who are in the mainstream climate change to bring their skills, their knowledge into a middle point where we can all learn from each other. Then we have strengthen social workforce through financial support to professional bodies for better climate change mitigation. So this means we have to bring different people who are working in the eco-social world so they can come together and strengthen the capacity of social workers. Social workers work with the people in the last mile. If we build their capacity, it would really benefit each and every profession that they interact with during their work. Then we can support research and evidence generation, because we all know all things work with research, with evidence. It even helps in our advocacy as we try to bring these issues to different stakeholders who are responsible for taking action. Then we build partnerships and synergies for surmountable interventions. So these partnerships become a center for us to feed in, and they can help us to reach, spread our impact to all other places.
Thanks, Doreen. We have provided the references of our presentation. The first one is the NASWU 2020 annual report, which is also provided a link. International Federation of Social Work ESCO Statement 2018, and also NASWU 2020 report, ESCO Code of Conduct, is also given references there. We remain John Mary Ssekate
and Doreen Champeire. Those are our contacts. You can reach out to us through email, and we shall be very glad to hear from you.
Thanks very much, and greetings from Kampala.